Hello and welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and showing up out of nowhere.
Woo!
This is Nano.
What's up, guys?
How you doing today, Nano?
I'm great. I'm doing good.
You have looked extremely tired the last couple lessons, and today you look
a little more uppity.
More than a little bit.
Uppity doo-dah. I'm good. Yeah, no, today wasn't that hard.
All right.
Actually, so
cool.
It was a good day.
Let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
All right. Today is titled Happy, 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 which makes absolutely no sense unless I explain it like I did on Monday, and then I didn't on Tuesday, and got several emails saying, I have no idea what Happy, Happy, Happy is about, but it was a great lesson. So this is all about major scales. You're all advanced students if you're tuned in tonight, so you understand that the major scales are the ones that sound happy, and then next week we're going over sad, 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 which is all of our minor scales. Now, for advanced students, trying to come up with something that has to do with major scales was actually not difficult because there's, even though advanced players play in a lot of major scales, you already understand the concepts behind it. Today we're going over how to take exercises through all 12 keys using the circle of fifths and giving you a couple things to think about here. So let's jump into the PDF here. We've got kind of four distinct parts here. We've got these advanced exercises that we're going to go through one at a time at the top. In the middle, there's mid-exercise modulations. We'll talk about that here in a second. Then we've got the circle of fifths and the MP3 down here at the bottom. So if you're not already familiar with the circle of fifths, just briefly, here, this is all of the keys that you would that you can play in, all the major keys, and they're all a fifth apart. So going counterclockwise through the circle, we've got C to F, to B flat, to E flat, to A flat. So it's going to take you by fifth down. And then if you go the other direction, it's by fifth up, of course. So from C, the next one over, going clockwise, C to G, to D, to A. The most common progressions that I've seen go counterclockwise. So C's generally want to move to F's, especially if they're dominant chords. So C's want to move to F, F's, especially if they're dominant chords, want to move to B flats, want to move to E flats, and it's going to take you around all 12 keys. So we've got keys with sharps on the right and keys with flats on the left. And the position on the clock, on the circle of fifths clock, I guess, tells you how many sharps or flats they have. So 1 o'clock on the sharp side is G. G has 1 sharp because it's at 1 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, there's A because A has 3 sharps. And then the same thing on the flat side. At 3 o'clock on the flat side is E flat because E flat has 3 flats. So kind of a handy way to keep track of which keys have how many flats and what not. Your MP3 this week actually is just 4 bars of each of these, and I wrote it all out for you here in case you want to follow along with something like this, a little chart instead of a little measure chart instead of going through the circle of fifths. So it's going to go C to F to B flat to E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, etc., etc., etc. 4 bars of each. So that's going to sound something like this: 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and this is all C. 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4 before it switches to F. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Third bar, 3, 4. Fourth bar, 2, 3, 4 to B flat, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. So that's your MP3. That's what we're going to practice along with tonight. And let's go back up to the top and just jump into these things. We'll go through them one at a time, and then I will leave you to practice this stuff on your own because this is not easy. The first one here is a diatonic 7 chord. These are all written in the key of C, but we're going to play them around the circle. So this first one is written, actually, Nano, if you could zoom out there, I'm going to go on up here. We've got, this is our diatonic 1 chord, the major 7, 1 chord. We're going to play 2 of these and then come straight down as a triplet. Let's go ahead and go back to the PDF. So we're going to have 2 eighths and then triplet to get the triad in there. And then we just take that thing and shift it down. So we've got these notes, 8th notes, triplet, and then 8th note, triplet, 8th note, triplet. And then we would do that for all the keys, starting with the 1 chord in each of these keys. So along with the PDF, along with the MP3, it's going to sound something like this. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And then F. Go ahead and zoom out there. And then B flat. Then E flat. And so on and so forth all the way through. So that's the first one. It's diatonic 7 chords through all the keys. So that's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 here is going to be C. Again, these are all written in the key of C. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, and then a little triplet here at the end on the 4, 5, 4, and then 3, 1. Then we would take that same exact concept and move it up 1. And then move it up 1. And then when it's time for the key of F, we'd move to the key of F. Let's try it. Then to the key of F. Then the key of B flat. Then the key of E flat. The key of A flat. And so on. So that's exercise number 2. We are blazing through these things. Here we go. Exercise number 3 is going to be basically 1, 2, 3, 5, and then moving that up. But as you can do with any of these exercises, you're going to go up on one set and come down on the next set. So we're going up with this. We're coming down with this next one. So where that last one, we could only get through 2 cycles at the speed that we're doing using eighth notes and then eighth note triplets. Of course, you could get through twice as many of them if you switch to 16th notes. This one, you're going to fly through these a lot faster. So this is one set right here. And then that's those. And then we move up. And then et cetera, et cetera. Let's try that one together. We'll need to zoom out here. And then F. Then B flat. E flat, and so on, all the way through all 12 keys, of course. Next one we have, all right, wow, how long have we been at this? 10 minutes?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I can't see a timer. Oh, yep, I can.
All right.
I can. Yeah.
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Nice. All right,
Bam.
and this is like a month's worth of practice, so that's good stuff. All right, so this next one here, we're just going to take this shape right here, and then move these guys right here up by playing these and then down to the bottom. So we have the 1 triad. We're going to keep the 1 on the bottom, then move it up, and then back down, and then up again. Let's try that. Then we'll switch to the key of F, which is going to be this. We go. Stop. There we go. All right. Possessed track. So then that's all 4 of those exercises. Of course, it doesn't matter what exercise you're practicing, as long as you keep your rhythms consistent and you practice it through all of the keys. So the circle of fifths is going to be a great way to get through all of those, and it's going to force you pretty immediately into those keys that you don't want to play in, unless you're starting back, earlier on in the circle. So you want to start here at C, and then work your way around, or even start over at F or B flat or E flat, instead of starting at D, and then you've got D, which is easy. The next one's going to be G, which is going to be easy. C, which is going to be easy. F, which is going to be easy. B flat, which is easy, and then E flat. About there, you're going to need to take a bathroom break and come back and start all over again. So make sure you get down to the bottom part on both sides of the circle of fifths. Now, all of that said, if you've played through any of the Hanon exercises or anything, this stuff can get really, really monotonous, and then you can have great technique, but the thing is, when you're playing a solo and you're actually using this stuff, all of the technique that you've been practicing, you need to think not only about the pattern that you're using and running it through your scale, but you also need to think about what your next chord is going to be. And it sounds really lame when you're playing a really awesome solo and you jump, we're doing this thing. I guess you wouldn't do this as a solo, but that thing. And then it switches chords, and you jump from there to the next chord, with, in this case, from going from C down to F, and you just jump to the one of that. What we want to do instead is we want these things to flow together, all these concepts to flow together. So this time we're going to go through, we're going to try to play a couple of these exercises, only we're going to not jump to the one automatically. We're going to stay wherever we are and then switch keys just right there with what we have. So this first exercise actually is the Hanon number 1, I think it is. It might be number 2 or 3. I don't know. But anyway, so it's this exercise here where we skip over the note after the thumb. And then we're going to pretend that at this point right here, we're switching to the key of F. So at this point, our next one in the key of C would be, right? Because we're playing through. But then instead of playing the next one in the key of C, we're going to play in the key of F and throw that one in there. So the concept is, as the keys change, we don't jump to one. We just pick up wherever we are. We switch the geographies, the scales in our mind, and we keep on going from wherever we are. So let's try something a little bit simpler than this to start out with. We're just going to use a group of 3. So we're going to pretend our exercise is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Only we're going to switch keys and keep going with that same exercise until we get really high up, and then we'll turn around and come back down the other direction, but still changing keys as we go and not jumping to one. Let's try that. We'll start in the key of C, start out nice and low so we got plenty of room. So already in my head I'm thinking, all right, we're going to switch to the key of F here, and that's going to include B flats. Now we're in F. When I get up to that B flat right there, now I'm thinking, all right, the key of B flat's going to have B flat and E flat. Now the key of E flat's going to have A flat as well, and it's coming up right here. I'm in the key of E flat. I'm going to be switching the key of A flat, which is going to add in that D flat. Now I'm going to be switching to the D flat. Then G flat or F sharp. So you can see that is a lot more like what you would use in an actual solo as you were going through it, and you don't have the option to just jump to one without sounding like you don't know what in the world you're doing. So I would recommend taking all of these exercises through all of the scales only, or through all the keys only. Don't just jump to one. Just keep in your mind, this is what I'm on, this is what I'm going to, because as you know, in an actual playing situation, that's what you really got to be thinking about, is not what am I on right now and how can I make this cool, but what's coming up and how am I going to get there easily. So anyway, that's pretty much it for major scales for the advanced lesson. You got some good exercises here and some really challenging concepts, I think. If those are not challenging concepts for you, then let me know, because you need to be teaching here. So if you have questions, now's the time to ask them by putting your name and your question in the box below this video. And today's feature is a quote of the day from Booker T. Washington. The quote is, "Nothing ever comes to one that is worth having except as a result of hard work."
That's hard. That's some hard work right there.
To say that? Or to say that with a straight face?
I don't know.
All right. All right.
But I bet you it took him a while to come up with that.
Maybe.
So that'd be some hard work.
No, he was just genius. Everything he spoke was just flawless.
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So anyway, work hard, I guess is what he was saying. I don't think we should ever do quote of the day again. That was the dumbest thing in the world. Wasn't it? Have you seen anything dumber happen on any of these lessons?
Well, I've tried to toggle my mic off a few times. So that was kind of dumb.
Okay. I think that was the death of quote of the day right there. Goodbye, quote of the day.
My quote of the day.
I tried to go into it thinking maybe it would work.
No,
it just sounded dumb to me.
Maybe I made it sound dumb. I don't know.
But I guarantee you 10 students just logged off right now when I said quote of the day. Like, what? Just let me practice my stupid exercises. Man. Do we have any questions?
We got a couple
other
questions,
than,
right?
What are you thinking quoting Booker T. Washington in my piano lesson? What are our other questions?
We got a couple questions. This one comes from Josh, and he wants to know, what keys do you usually play in?
Me?
You personally.
It really depends on the gig. Anything could come up. More frequently than having to play in... See, here's the problem. If you've got your keys that you can play in, and you can play any song in those keys, and you can play all your licks in those keys, the moment someone asks you to play in a different key is the moment you should have practiced for 3 hours before that. So most of the time it's not a big deal to like in the G flat and the B area. You can usually get around that stuff, but the one time you can't, there's no substitution for it. You're just gonna really suck or say that you can't play it. I mean, you're gonna try to play in it and you're gonna mess up. And then you're going to go home and practice the 3 hours you should have done right before the gig. So I would say, all of them, honestly. That's a sucky answer. I really want to have E shows up statistically 37% of the time, so that's going to be but nah, it's just all of them. And you're going to you might not ever need one until that one gig, and in that one gig you're going to wish that you'd practiced it. So practice them all. Sorry. Hard work. Like Booker T. Washington would say, nothing ever comes to one that is worth having except as a result of hard work. That's what I would say to Josh.
Yep,
Josh. Yeah, Josh.
That's it right there.
Some wisdom.
All right, we got one more from George. He wants to know, how old were you when you started practicing all the keys?
I don't know, but I'm sure it was the day after I had a gig where someone said, "Hey, can we take that up a half a step?" And I went, "Can we take up a whole step?" They're like, "No, we need to take it up a half step." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks." And I screwed up through the entire song. And then I went home and started practicing my scales going, I guess when this stuff shows up, it's really embarrassing if you don't know what you're doing. So, I would say that was probably somewhere around 13 or 14. I fought it for a long, long time, just trying to play cool stuff to impress my friends in the keys that I knew, which works. You can totally impress your friends in the keys that you know, but then, that's when you're deciding what you're going to play, when other people decide what you're going to play, which is any paying gig, because they're paying you to play what they want. In every single situation like that, you're going to be forced into some uncomfortable zones, unless you practice the stuff already.
With hard work.
With hard work, as Booker T. Washington would say. Do we have another question?
That's it for tonight, man.
All right, cool. Well, for myself and for Nano and the spirit of Booker T. Washington, we'll see you next time.